Hi, everyone, and welcome to Youth Amplified,
a podcast that inspires, empowers, and connects.
I'm Ronna.
And I'm Brian. And in the spotlight today, digital lockdown. Banning social media for under 16s. Is it protection or is it control?
We're joined around the table by Maliyah, Ayyan, Tajana, and community leader Adam Zahra. So let's dive right in.
Absolutely, Ronna. Great panel, a lovely topic. Let's start with Tajana. What was your first reaction when you heard that New South Wales will ban social media for under 16s? Was it shock or was it relief or was it just plain disbelief?
I was in disbelief as I found out the ban would occur towards the end of this year, and we're such a our society is so driven on social media, and we share all of our aspirations, all of our opinions on social media. So limiting the youth, especially under 16s who are now growing up on social media away from it, is such an absurd idea. And I feel like the government chose this decision for us, but they didn't do it with us. They should have taken into consideration the youth's aspirations. And honestly, I feel like they could have trialed different things before admitting to a complete ban.
Adam, do you have anything to add to that?
I think that my first reaction to it actually was that that's a way of controlling people. Okay, because when you have to, now what happens? Do we all have to now log in our age? Do we all have to put in our ID? And then guess what happens? They're going to turn around and go, we've got a really convenient way and a safe and secure way for you to prove your age. And it's going to be digital ID. That is not a good thing.
Now, continuing the conversation, Maliyah, let's turn to you. Is this ban about protecting young people or controlling them? What do you think?
I think it's absolutely controlling. I don't think it's protecting because, frankly, if we're going to be protecting young people, we'd be putting measures in place before going to a total ban. We'd be doing more education in schools about being safe online. We would be putting in maybe protections for young people. We'd be being more active rather than just straight up banning, because then I think you're going to, let's say when they're, over 16, they're allowed to have social media. They're going to go into it completely unequipped. What's the procedure then? There's still safety measures that's needed for 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. You're just banning it to be controlling rather than actually solving the problem. You're putting this Band-Aid on this issue. It's temporary. These kids then grow up. What's happening then when maybe they're a bit older and they're actually held accountable for their mistakes online? They'll make these mistakes online, but then they won't have the protection of being young and actually guided. I think it's setting kids up for failure in the long run, rather than protecting them.
And what do you think? If social media is a part of how young people connect, create, express themselves, what's happening now that that's taken away?
Well, I think the obvious course of action is that people will feel disconnected, and methods which they can create and inspire will also be removed. And this ban, it's like, for a problem of reading, it's like banning literature altogether. And as Maliyah mentioned, putting a Band-Aid on something that you don't fully treat, it's not really a solution to it all. And when you remove creative methods and ways in which people can communicate, such as young people, and young people are the most creative people out of all age groups. And getting rid of that is a very, very, very big problem, because not only does that impact their mental health, but also their mental clarity.
Now, Adam, over to you. Does banning social media actually fix the problem or just hide it?
I don't think banning anything really solves anything, okay? You can ban... I know this is a youth show, okay, but I've got not much of an example. But for an example, you can ban e-cigarettes, okay? Yep. What did it do? It created a black market, okay? You can ban illicit drugs, okay? It creates a black market. So I find that people always find a way, and then I find that a lot of legislation that government puts in place actually creates another problem. I think you can ban social media if you want to, but something else will come up. Something else will find a way. So what happens? Why can't you pay your older brother or older sister to set you up an account. Hey, look, sis, hey, bro, I'll give you $20. Just set me up an account, give me a password. Brother or sister's going to go, yep, no worries, and do it. Okay, or you're going to clean their room or whatever you're going to do. You're going to do something for something, and that's a black market.
Yes.
And I think that's what that's going to create. So it's not. I don't think it's going to really solve anything. I think it's actually going to make it worse.
Tina, what do you think? If you were premier for a day, what would your solution be to make social media maybe safer for young people?
Well, I think the first strategy the government should have taken when they considered the social media ban is to start digital literacy programs for students between the years of year 7 to 10, because that's what the ban is aimed at. Those students between 13 years and 16 years, they're the most active on social media. So if I were Premier, I would introduce that into the curriculum. I would also put more of a responsibility on the platforms themselves, as they're the ones who are profiting from the youth. They're the ones who are making the money. They should be the ones creating a safer platform for the users. They should be providing more moderation checks. They should be responding to the reports faster, opposed to leaving the youth in stress. And they're just like, you're putting the youth in a really bad position if you're not even supporting them. So why create a platform without support for the youth?
If I was Premier, the main key point that I would target was digital education, and to educate through workshops or programs, and really help children to understand the algorithms, the way things work, and the privacy issues related to that.
Education is so important. This is a new form of literacy. This is a new form of comprehension. It's a new form of engaging with the world. The curriculum is the thing that needs to be updated to catch up with the children, to catch up with the way in which, social media is dominating the world. That's just the truth. If we don't educate our children, they're going to be left behind compared to the rest of the world. If you're banning them from this thing, shunning them from this thing, then they're just being left behind.
All right, Adam, let's talk tech companies. How much responsibility do you think they should take in protecting young users instead of banning them altogether?
I think there should be some sort of guidelines and some principles, just like television and things like broadcasting and stuff like that. So there should be a measure of protection, okay, especially if, like the panel was saying, if there's a complaint, that should be processed quickly and followed through with and things like that. But social media, they create platforms. Like, you guys have created a platform, okay? Is it really up to you to warrant or worry about what people actually say on the program? I think that it should be on the content creator. Okay, not the person who creates the platform. So not everyone can, be a Mark Zuckerberg and start a Facebook program and all of a sudden have it go international and this wonderful money-making business. And then how hard is it for them to monitor? So what happens is it should be more about content creation and the laws that go with that. Okay, so people's laws. Okay, so like normal law, like the law that we abide by, you shouldn't be able to cause harm to people. And then the onus should be on you, not on the platform itself. Okay, so if you've created harm, and harm is very, very messy, okay, because harm to one is different to another.
That's
right. Okay, so that's a grey area anyway. So if you kept it into laws like hurting somebody or causing harm mentally by actually abusing somebody, okay, and then it fell into that criteria of abuse or something like that within the law, then that person then should be reported. The social media platform could then send an investigation to a police or an e-commissioner or something like that, and then it be carried out through them. I don't see why a platform should, what about all the good people using the platforms? Okay, and use it correctly. And not all 16-year-olds and 13-year-olds abuse each other on there, like our panel's been saying, right? They communicate, hey, are we going to the shops? Hey, are we going to go and meet at Macca's? Or what are we going to do tonight? Or what this weekend? Or school holidays? Back in the day, we used to use landline telephones.
Yes.
Okay, now, instead of calling, everyone sends some messages at each other. I'd rather just ring somebody. But these days, this is what's important. So it's not really on the platform. I think it should be on, the owner should be on the creator.
Okay, thanks, Adam.
Well, what do you think? Is social media today more of a mirror of society's issues or a magnifier of them?
Well, it's a bit of both, really. It's like putting a mirror under a spotlight. It becomes more intense, more larger. And when you really delve into today's issues, such as insecurities and all of things like that, really banning it sort of builds it more, because then people are worried about, okay, what are people going to think of me now that the online issues are now offline, because some people they overthink, and that constant thought at the back of their mind of what people are going to think and things like that, it really messes with people sometimes. And even those, for example, that are in rural areas and who are not really online, it doesn't really impact them. But for example, in suburban areas where just talking to your friend you need social media, removing that is a very, very big problem.
Maliyah, so we touched on this before, but what do you think? Could this be the start of a new kind of rebellion, going underground with secret accounts?
Absolutely. I think beyond everything, if you take something away from someone, they're immediately going to feel that loss. And then they're going to crave trying to fill that loss, especially if you're taking away something as addictive as social media so rapidly. That is going to really cause so much anger in kids. They feel unheard, they feel unsupported, they feel left out. Obviously, they're going to go and make underground accounts. And I think, it's the same with watching kids who have really strict parents and then they go and rebel against their parents. It's usually the kids who are in the most problematic situations that often have the parents who are the strictest. And then you have parents who are a bit more lenient on their kids, and then their kids are able to flourish and, experience things because they're not going behind people's backs. This is going to cause underground accounts that aren't monitored by parents, that aren't monitored by schools. And then where do the kids go to for support when things happen? Obviously, anytime things can happen on social media, we know that. But then who's actually going to be supporting the kids? Not the government, who are banning this. And, they know there's going to be underground accounts. These kids are just left unsupported, unheard, and rebelling. And when they rebel, it just leads to more and more rebellion, and then it trickles down. Yes. It gets worse.
Tajana, tell me, what keeps you logging in every day?
Well, personally, what keeps me logging in is connection. So, for example, I have lots of family overseas in Serbia and Croatia. So being able to communicate with them through social media is such a strong aspect. And just removing that from many individuals who have multicultural families is going to cause such a strain to them. They won't be able to communicate with their family members as well as their friends. For me, I use social media to communicate with my friends, like Instagram. That's where we make our plans in our group chats, right? So keeping me logging in every day is to be connected with everyone, to even be in campaigning groups. For example, a not-for-profit really recently started a volunteering group page, right? So I'm able to use social media to be included into those things. And if we just remove social media for all those students who are under 16 and all those individuals who are under 16, it causes a strain, because how are they going to get involved? How are they able to talk to their family overseas, right? Yes. So that's what keeps me logging in every day, connection and communication.
That's great. Ayyan?
Yep.
Now, what do you think, what would make social media feel safer and healthier for young people?
Well, as you asked Adam about tech companies, definitely targeting them about accountability. And because they control the algorithms that they produce to us and the different advertisements and manipulative features that they have, definitely holding them accountable for that and asking them to change it, or working with them to adapt them and create a safer, more open environment for children that's more, and young people that is more transparent, because transparency definitely is key for this. And what the government has done by outright banning it, they haven't really communicated with younger audiences, and that puts a strain on young people.
But Adam, there's the other side of this as well. Do you think that this ban could actually silence marginalized voices who only find their community online?
I think it's a shame that it has come to that point where marginalised can only communicate using social media. So that's a failure in itself, okay? And then by giving or offering this tool for them to communicate, think about people who are flooded and disconnected from their community, and can't get to school. Well, school can still run, and you can use social media to communicate and things like that. So it is a good thing, and I am concerned that it is going to isolate people further by the ban. And I don't think bans are great in general.
What do you think, Maliyah?
I mean, I think so many kids find community online. They find a way to express themselves online. And I think that's a real, that's a safe place for some kids. It might seem against what we're already talking about, we discuss social media as an unsafe place, but for a lot of kids, who might not have support in their families, not every child is blessed to have a really supportive network in person. They find like these real safe havens online, find community, find a way to express themselves. That means a lot to a lot of kids, especially nowadays. That's something that's really growing. I think if you just rip that from kids, it's going to be really, really startling to them. The way it's just being, the way in which we're going about this ban, it's so sudden. It's not something that's being, like allowed in, like with phased in. Yes, yeah. It's just rapid, and that causes shock, and then that causes anger, and it's too rapid. Even if I agreed with the ban, which I don't, the way in which they're going about the ban is another issue completely.
Tajana, back to you. What if the answer is not about banning apps, but building digital skills and resilience in schools?
I totally agree with that statement, as I feel like the youth, as we are becoming a digital society, right? Everyone is on social media, everyone has an account. We need to be teaching the youth the right way how to use it. Because if we're outright banning social media, first of all, it's ineffective, as individuals will rebel, as the previous question, and they'll find other ways, which creates it even more unsafe as the government is portraying it. And they keep quoting, let kids be kids, when we are not providing the resources for them to learn how to use social media responsibly. Furthermore, there should be digital resilience, as how are individuals going to know the risks? How are they going to know where to seek support when they are under those pressures on social media? If the government commits to teaching, to providing resources of how students can learn how to use social media responsibly and safely, we can provide a safer network and safer space for individuals, as we are becoming such a digital society. Like, for example, the podcast is on all social media platforms. Students who want to come on the podcast who are under 16 will be unable to even watch the podcast. It creates such a discrepancy between under 16s and over 16s, and there's no difference, as both of them may even lack digital resilience or digital literacy. So that's what I believe should be taught: digital literacy and resilience.
Excellent. Thank you.
And be honest. When the ban kicks in, what's your plan B for sneaking back onto TikTok?
Well, the thing is, with any ban, people always find ways to go underground. And for me, I don't really have a problem because I'm over 16. But for those that do have a problem, they'll find a way. They'll either, like I said, passwords changes, or age verification changes, or even VPNs, or even paying your brother. But those who are under 16, such as 14 and 15, what they can do is educate themselves about it, educate themselves about the different algorithm ways and manipulative features, and prepare themselves for when they have access. And in terms of finding another way as a plan B, there is no plan B, really. It's more of just you make a fake account and you go at it. But that's the problem with this ban, because not every ban solves every problem. And this ban, it creates more problems than it's fixing, because it's creating more problems and those safe spaces that people now resort to, they're more unsafe. They're more risky because those people are more susceptible to online predators, for example, and people like that. And that's not a problem, and that's not a thing that the government actually wants, and nobody would really want for their own child. And so the plan B isn't really a plan B, it's more of a worst case scenario situation.
Sure. Well, we can keep exploring this great topic, but I guess time is limited. So let's thank you, Maliyah, thank you, Ayyan, thank you, Tajana, and thank you, Adam, for joining us today.
Until next fortnight, let's continue to inspire, empower, and connect. And remember, your voice matters.